Shanghai is not just a large city. It is one of the clearest examples of how geography, trade, politics, and modernization can transform a place into a global powerhouse. Located where the Yangtze River system meets the East China Sea, Shanghai sits at one of the most valuable urban positions in Asia. By 2026, its urban population is estimated at just over 30 million people, making it China's most populous city and one of the largest cities on Earth. But Shanghai's importance is not only measured in people. It is a center of finance, shipping, manufacturing, research, technology, culture, and tourism. It contains historic lanes and futuristic skyscrapers, old treaty port architecture, and the world's largest metro network by route length. To understand Shanghai is to understand how a city can become both a symbol of China's modern rise and a place shaped by centuries of global connection. Shanghai's location explains much of its destiny. The city lies on the southern estuary of the Yangtze River, one of the world's great river systems and the economic spine of eastern China. Rivers have always mattered because they move grain, goods, people, and ideas. The Huangpu River cuts through Shanghai itself, dividing the historic western districts from the modern skyline of Pudong to the east. This river is more than scenery. It has been an industrial artery, a trade corridor, and a visual boundary between different chapters of the city's development. Shanghai's port access allowed it to connect inland China with maritime trade routes across Asia and beyond. In a country where many major cities grew around imperial administration, Shanghai's rise was especially tied to commerce. Its geography made it useful, and once global trade intensified, usefulness became power. Before it became a global metropolis, Shanghai was a fishing village and market town. Its early identity was practical and local, based on waterways, agriculture, coastal activity, and regional exchange. This origin matters because Shanghai did not begin as an ancient imperial capital like Beijing or Xi'an. It grew because the conditions around it changed. As China's internal trade expanded and international maritime commerce became more important, Shanghai's port location became increasingly valuable. The city's rise was not a sudden miracle, but a layering of advantages: access to the Yangtze Basin, proximity to the sea, a growing merchant class, and a position between China's interior markets and foreign shipping networks. By the 19th century, these advantages would be pulled into a much larger and more turbulent global story. The 19th century was the turning point that pushed Shanghai onto the world stage, but it came through conflict and coercion. After the First Opium War, Shanghai became one of the treaty ports forced open to European trade. This changed the city's trajectory dramatically. Foreign-controlled areas, including the Shanghai International Settlement and the French Concession, developed alongside Chinese-administered districts. These zones introduced new legal systems, banks, trading houses, clubs, schools, churches, roads, and architectural styles. The result was a complicated urban environment, part Chinese city, part colonial treaty port, part international marketplace. Shanghai became a place where Chinese merchants, foreign firms, migrants, bankers, workers, and diplomats all competed for space and opportunity. This era helped make Shanghai wealthy and cosmopolitan, but it also embedded deep inequalities and foreign domination into the city's development. By the 1930s, Shanghai had become one of Asia's great commercial and financial hubs. It was famous for banks, shipping, publishing, nightlife, fashion, cinema, and modern urban culture. The Bund, with its grand waterfront buildings, became the architectural face of this era. These buildings reflected international finance and imperial confidence, while nearby Chinese neighborhoods carried their own dense commercial and residential life. One of Shanghai's most distinctive forms of housing was the shikumen, a style blending Chinese courtyard living with Western townhouse influences. The city's identity became layered, glamorous and unequal, modern and crowded, foreign-influenced and deeply Chinese. For many, Shanghai represented possibility. For others, it represented exploitation. That tension is central to its history. The same forces that made it globally famous also made it politically unstable and socially divided. Shanghai's golden age was disrupted by war. During the Second World War, the city became the site of the Battle of Shanghai, one of the major urban battles between Chinese and Japanese forces. The fighting was brutal and symbolically important, showing China's resistance while exposing the vulnerability of one of its most international cities. Shanghai eventually fell under Japanese rule, and the war deeply damaged its society and economy. After Japan's defeat, Shanghai was drawn into the Chinese Civil War, which ended with the communist takeover of the city and most of mainland China. Under the new political order, Shanghai remained economically important, but its international role changed. During the Cold War, trade was largely restricted to socialist countries and domestic networks. The city that had once been one of Asia's most outward-facing financial centers became more inwardly focused. The next major transformation came with China's reform and opening up, associated with Deng Xiaoping. By the 1990s, Shanghai was positioned for redevelopment on an enormous scale. The most dramatic symbol was Pudong, the area east of the Huangpu River. For decades, Pudong had been less developed than the historic districts across the water. Then it became a showcase for China's new economic direction: foreign investment, financial services, high-rise construction, modern infrastructure, and global ambition. The Lujiazui skyline rose where low-rise industrial and residential landscapes had once dominated. Towers such as the Oriental Pearl Tower, Jinmao Tower, Shanghai World Financial Center, and Shanghai Tower turned Pudong into one of the most recognizable skylines in the world. In Shanghai, modernization did not simply expand the city. It rebranded it. Today, Shanghai is one of the world's major financial centers. It is home to the Shanghai Stock Exchange, the largest stock exchange in the Asia-Pacific by market capitalization, and to the Shanghai Free Trade Zone, the first free trade zone in mainland China. These institutions matter because they show Shanghai's role in connecting China's domestic economy with global capital, trade, and regulation. The city is ranked among the world's top financial centers and is classified as an Alpha Plus global city, meaning it has major influence in international business networks. As of 2024, Shanghai is home to 13 Fortune Global 500 companies, one of the highest totals of any city. This concentration of corporate power reflects Shanghai's modern function, not just a place where goods move, but a place where decisions, money, research, and strategy are concentrated. Shanghai's port is another reason the city remains globally essential. The Port of Shanghai is the world's busiest container port, handling vast flows of manufactured goods, components, consumer products, and raw materials. Container ports are the hidden engines of globalization. They allow supply chains to function at huge scale, moving goods between factories, warehouses, retailers, and consumers across continents. Shanghai's port benefits from both ocean access and connection to the Yangtze River economic region, one of China's most productive industrial corridors. This means the city is not isolated from its hinterland. It acts as a gateway between inland manufacturing centers and global shipping routes. When people think of Shanghai, they often picture skyscrapers, but its maritime infrastructure is just as important. The city's global influence floats on containers as much as it rises in towers. Shanghai is also a transportation megastructure on land. Its metro system, first opened in 1993, has grown into the largest metro network in the world by route length. That growth reflects the challenge of moving tens of millions of people through a dense, expanding metropolis. Metro lines connect residential districts, business centers, airports, railway stations, universities, shopping areas, and tourist sites. This kind of infrastructure shapes daily life. It determines how far people can commute, where companies can locate, and how new neighborhoods develop. Shanghai's transport network also includes major railway links, airports, expressways, bridges, and tunnels, reinforcing its role as a national and global hub. A city of this scale cannot function through skyline alone. It depends on systems below the surface and behind the scenes, moving people with extraordinary regularity. Beyond finance and infrastructure, Shanghai has become a major center of science, research, and higher education. It ranks among the world's leading cities for scientific output and is home to important universities such as Fudan University, Shanghai Jiaotong University, and Tongji University. This matters because modern global cities compete not only through ports and banks, but through knowledge. Universities attract students, researchers, laboratories, startups, and international partnerships. Research output strengthens industries such as engineering, medicine, materials science, artificial intelligence, and advanced manufacturing. Shanghai's innovation identity is connected to China's broader goal of moving up the value chain, from low-cost production toward high-tech development and original research. In that sense, Shanghai is not only a marketplace for the present. It is one of China's laboratories for the future. Shanghai's culture is as important as its economy. The city is known for its cuisine, its local language, its museums, and its cosmopolitan lifestyle. Its built environment preserves different layers of history: the classical garden world of Yu Garden, the religious and commercial traditions around the city god temple, the former international architecture of the Bund, the Shikumen lanes of older neighborhoods, and the modern exhibition spaces and landmarks of newer districts. Shanghai cuisine is often associated with rich, slightly sweet flavors, seafood, braised dishes, and famous street foods like soup dumplings. The local language, Shanghainese, reflects the city's regional identity even as Mandarin dominates national communication. Shanghai's culture is not simply old or new. It is a negotiation between memory and reinvention, local pride and global openness. Shanghai stands today as one of the world's defining megacities because it compresses so many modern urban stories into one place. It began as a modest settlement shaped by water and trade. It became a treaty port shaped by foreign pressure and global commerce. It flourished as a financial capital, suffered through war and political upheaval, then re-emerged through reform, redevelopment, and international investment. Now it is a city of stock exchanges, container ships, research universities, metro lines, skyscrapers, historic temples, and crowded food streets. Its skyline can look like the future, but its foundations are historical and geographic. Shanghai's real lesson is that global cities are not built by one force alone. They are created by location, ambition, conflict, policy, labor, infrastructure, and culture converging over time. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.